Okay, so welcome to this video where we are going to solve a question based on kinematics. So the question goes like this. A tortoise can run with a speed of 0.1 meters per second and a hare can run 20 times as fast. In a race, they both start at the same time, but the hare stops to rest for 2 minutes. The tortoise wins by a sure 20 centimeters. So they're saying, how long does the race end? Okay, what is the length of the race? Okay, so this type of equation, always physics becomes very simple whenever you are sketching. So I'll try to sketch a diagram here. I'll try to sketch. The distance which is going to be at this point, I'll label it as 0.2. Why am I trying to do it like that? This is because if you convert the length that the tortoise had covered after winning, it has to be what? It must be 20 centimeters. So you try to convert this one to meters, we are going to get 0.2 meters. All right. Okay, so whenever we try to do it as in a simple way, what we are going to understand, I'll take this one to be like this. I'll say uh, this one is going to be for tortoise, and also this one is going to be for a hare. Now we try to illustrate the data for every animal here. We're going to try to illustrate the data for every animal here. Okay. All right, so I'll separate these motions. I'll write these two motions as follows. I'll say a tortoise here, then I'll say a hare somewhere there. All right, tortoise and a hare somewhere here. So what we are going to understand, we are going to have three different quantities. We must have time, we must have velocity, and also we are going to have displacement. So we will have displacement for both the tortoise and the hare. Now, I'm trying to illustrate the data based on everything. The time which is going to be from here up somewhere there has to be the total time. It must be the total time. So for a tortoise, I'll label this one to be T because it had the full time after winning. Then whenever you come to velocity, it had a velocity of 0.10 meters per second. This was the velocity of the tortoise. So the distance I'm saying from here up to somewhere there, by the way, the only thing which completed the full race has to be the hare. So since this one had won and then it went beyond, that's why I had to do what? I'll say x, which was covered by everything already, plus the distance which is going to be ahead. So I'll say x plus 0.2. This was the distance that a tortoise had covered. Okay, we try to look at the time that was taken by the hare. We are saying the hare had come to rest after 2 minutes, meaning that it was subtracting its total time. It had to come after 2 minutes, meaning that still after resting somewhere here, it kept on drifting until it came to rest. So for you to find the time, the total time it covered in this displacement, by the way, this has to be the total displacement. So for you to find this same total displacement, or rather for you to find the time it took to cover this displacement, what are you supposed to do? By the way, this was the displacement which was meant for a race. This had to be the displacement which was meant for a race. Okay, so for you to find the total time that was covered by the hare, what are you supposed to do? We are going to have a total minus 2 minutes. So 2 minutes, to find that 2 minutes, the same 2 minutes, whenever we try to convert 2 minutes, you have to convert to 60. You convert it like that, then it will give you 120. So we are going to have 120 seconds. That was the total time it covered. Meaning that since we are saying 0.1 meters per second, that was the velocity a tortoise had. So they are saying 20 times, meaning that the hare had a velocity of what? It had 0.10 multiplied by 20. Okay, now for you to come up with the actual velocity here, whenever I try to multiply it like that, I'll say, I'm going to say 0.1 multiplied by 20, we are getting 2. So here I'm going to have my 2 meters per second as the what? The velocity of the hare. So remember, hare had covered the full distance. It completed the race, so it will just have x, just like that. Now we can calculate. Remember, we have a lot of formulas to use here under kinematics. One, we have v, which is equal to v initial plus a t. We have v square, which is equal to v square plus 2a s, and we also have s. In this case, I'll take it as x. I'll say equal to v initial t plus 1 over 2 a t square. So these are the formulas that we can use for us to solve this question. But since we're not even interested in these two, we're dealing with distance, definitely the last equation has to be applicable. But here we don't have acceleration. This has to be taken to be a constant thing, meaning that these two, they are going to have their velocity, their formula to be what? To be x, which is going to be equal to v initial multiplied by time. All right, so I'm going to use this one in reference to everything here. I'll start with the race that was taken by this two. So I'll start. Time has to be t for the tortoise. Say tortoise here. So time has to be t for tortoise. So I'll say x has to be equal to, we are going to have initial velocity was taken to be what? Was taken to be 0.1 multiplied by the time. But you have to be very, very careful where there is the displacement, because the displacement for tortoise here was given as what? X plus 0.2. So I'll say this has to be equal to 0.1 t. That was the expression, or this has to be the expression for the tortoise. Now we are going to come to the expression for the hare. All right, so the expression for hare has to be like this. I also use the same expression. I'll say x has to be equal to v initial t. What is the initial velocity for hare? We are saying it has to be 2 meters. What is the displacement? It has to be x. And what is the time? It has to be t minus 20. So we're going to say x has to be equal to 2 multiplied by t minus 120, like this. So meaning that this has to be the expression for what? For hare. Now I'll say solve the two expressions simultaneously. Okay, so we are going to look at this and that as a whole equation. We are going to combine them and solve them simultaneously now. All right, now how are we going to solve them simultaneously? Look at this equation. We have x and here we have x. So we are going to substitute this x by what? by that in this given expression, and we are going to have 2. I'll just multiply 2 and that. I'll say 2t minus this multiplied by that. I think we have to get 240 plus 0.2. We are going to get 0.1 t. So whenever we try to add this, you'll find that we are going to get 2t minus 240.2, which is going to be equal to 0.1 t. So I'll say, or rather I'll take this one to my left hand side. We are going to have 2. Okay, we are going to have 2t minus 0.1 t. This one can go to my right hand side. We are going to have 240.2. So we try to subtract 2 minus 0.1. What answer are we getting? We are going to have 1.9 t, which is going to be equal to 240.2. I'll divide by 1.9 and here by 1.9. Definitely, the total time they had covered has to be given as, so I'll say 240.2 divided by the answer. So we are getting 126. So definitely the time has to be 126.42 meters, seconds. This was the total time the race, or rather the race had to end on. So if you want to solve the remaining question now, we are going to do it as follows. Okay, so for us to solve the remaining question, we are going to consider the one that had finished the race. So which one finished the race? We are going to look at the one which is given at this point of time. And what is that? We have to notice to say, I'll just say x has to be equal to what? It must be equal to, okay, all right, I'll just say x has to be equal to tortoise. I know that tortoise has to be the one which finished what? The race, meaning that in this case, sorry, the hare, sorry, not tortoise, sorry, hare is the one that finished the race. So what are we going to do if you want to find the expression for the hare? We are going to consider this one. So I'll say x has to be equal to 2 open t minus 120. So meaning that x is going to be equal to 2. What is the time that we are from finding? It has to be 126.42 minus 120, and x is going to be given as. So if we punch this on the calculator, minus 120, you multiply this by 2, and we are getting the answer as 12.84 meters. This becomes the distance that a race had. Thank you for watching. This is how you have to go about this same question. Thank you for your watching once more. Like our videos, share our videos, try to comment, and also subscribe to our channel for more videos.